Hello, everyone. Today is a day that lingers fondly in my memory. It's my grandparents' wedding anniversary. That event occurred in Detroit, Michigan, 121 years ago. Time passes quickly, but memories never fade. As I read John chapter 20, verse 21 in preparation for today's video, I couldn't help but think of my grandmother. That verse reads, quote, "As the Father has sent me, I am sending you," end quote. These are the words Jesus spoke to his disciples. But guess what? These are words he meant for you and me too. Jesus' last words on earth were, "You will be my witnesses in Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth," end quote. The words "to the ends of the earth" were meant for us because the disciples would never get there. We can get there. My grandma knew that. And not only did she honor Jesus' words, but she left those words for her children and grandchildren. While raising 8 children, she taught Sunday school for 50 years. Each of those Sundays, she was sending the message of Jesus to those who sat at the table. She answered Jesus' call to go, and she was telling others to do the same. Grandma recorded a tape near the end of her life in which she speaks to her children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and all who will come after. She tells us she is going to heaven soon, and she looks forward to seeing everyone there who has gone before her. She says she will also wait for the rest of us, not wanting one of us to perish. Grandma and Grandpa didn't go to Africa to serve the Lord. They didn't have to. They lived for Jesus in their own home and served him in the Detroit neighborhood in which they lived. Grandpa's booming voice singing in church told us all just how proud he was to be a Christian. Today, their story fits perfectly into my video ministry. It's a day for me to remember their marriage, but far more important is this. It's a day to thank them for honoring the words of Jesus and teaching me to do the same. Jesus said, quote, "As the Father has sent me, I am sending you," end quote. My grandparents honored those words by realizing God sent them to teach me and others that absolutely nothing is more important than being a Christian, honoring God every day of our lives, and seeing that others do the same. Now it's my job to tell you to go out and do just that. Like I was sent to do this ministry, and I wholeheartedly believe that, Jesus is sending you too. Are you ready to go? You and I can't serve him without packing. What are we packing? We're not packing a suitcase. God asked us instead to pack the words of the Bible he wrote in our hearts and in our minds. The Lord told Ezekiel in chapter 3, verse 1, quote, "Eat this scroll and then speak to the house of Israel," end quote. On that scroll were the words of the Bible. God instructed Ezekiel to eat them. What does that mean? It means we're not just supposed to read the Bible. We're supposed to get its words deep inside of us, live them, and speak them to others. How do we do that if we haven't read the entire Bible? And how will anyone be sent if no one speaks to them? Romans chapter 10, verse 14 says, how can they call on the one they have not believed in? And how can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? And how can anyone preach to them unless they are sent? As it is written, quote, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news, end quote. Like my grandmother, it is our job, yours and mine, to bring good news. The good news that tells others they can be saved and exactly how that can happen. Yet, the vast majority of Christians keep their faith a secret, professing it only in church on Sunday. I cringe every time I hear people say, I don't talk about religion or politics. As a Christian, where in the world did anyone get the idea that is what we are supposed to do? Are those the words of God, or are they from Satan? God says, go and tell. How many Christians are actually doing that? How about you? Are you listening to God or to Satan? Are you silent about your faith and keeping it a secret? Isn't Satan the one who doesn't want you to tell others about God? God sent us here to tell. Silence tells no one anything. I really enjoy Facebook. It gives me an opportunity to daily stay in touch with my family and friends. Many of them are Christians. But talk about God on Facebook? Are you kidding me? I do that, but it's the post I get the least feedback on. People don't want to publicly discuss their faith or let anyone know they're a Christian. They want to be liked above everything. I don't need to be liked. I need to honor God. And I know one day I will have to stand before him as he goes over what I did and did not do for him on earth. As life goes by, we don't often think about that day of reckoning, but it's getting a lot closer for me. We are God's voice to the world, a world that is slipping more and more into the hands of Satan. Silence supports Satan, not God. As a child, I learned a song called My Little Gospel Light. Did you learn that song? If so, do you remember this verse? Hide it under a bush? Oh no, I'm going to let it shine. Children sang that with vigor, honestly believing they would never hide their faith. But how quickly we forget. As Christian adults, we say, I don't talk about politics or religion. What changed us from children without inhibitions to adults hiding behind a need to be liked, while putting God deep into our heart, where silence, we think, is golden? It isn't. It's Satan directed. In that silence, God has taken a back seat. How will you answer him about that silence one day? You will be asked to do that, you know. I once told my brother-in-law, I will not witness. The Holy Spirit heard that and gave me an opportunity to understand that not witnessing isn't acceptable, nor is it part of God's plan. God sent us here to do the work he prepared in advance for us to do. Just as he chose lowly fishermen to take his word around the Mediterranean Sea, he has chosen you and me to do the same. God said these words in John chapter 15, verse 16. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last. End quote. What job did God give each of us to do? He not only chose us, but he appointed us to go and speak about him, not to say, I don't talk about religion and politics. He sent us to earth to bring others to him. And we will have to account one day for what we did or did not do. Did we bear fruit or stand silently in support of Satan? It was tough when I first began to witness. It's not tough now. Why? Because my concern isn't whether the witnessing is liked by the other person or whether that person likes me. I only care that the person is hearing what might save his or her life for eternity, because it's all about who I honor as I witness, and that person isn't Satan. Who do you honor? If you believe in the phrase, I don't talk about politics or religion, you are definitely honoring Satan, and he's thrilled. Remember this, and don't forget it. As the Father has sent me, I am sending you. Now go and do likewise. See you Thursday.